Hey everyone, it's ActOutGames here, and today I'm starting off my day at STARFEST for Charms class, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be not like it's going to be a long time. We have a few minutes before Charms starts, so I'm just hanging out and reading some books and just waiting for everything to start.
I'm not sure if that...
So one of the big things with the cons is that you always have a dilemma when there are two things that you really want to go to that are going to go on at the same time. And if this class runs a little long, then we might miss Carolyn Peterson's thing, or we might have to leave the class to go to Carolyn Peterson's thing, and it's very hard and very confusing. And usually it just kind of, we just kind of go with the flow, and if something feels like we have to go there, then it will. It's really hard to decide which one you want to go to.
I would like to present Miles and Hunter to present the class today. So, I want you to treat them with the same respect you would treat any professor. Got it?
This is an extension of the Charms class that's normally taught by Professor Elizabeth Blackwell. However, she's not here, and so we're serving as her student assistants and teaching this class. So, amulets and talismans are two very different things that are often confused.
Alright, so who knows what a talisman is? And it is an object, typically an inscribed stone or ring, that is believed to have magical power, and it grants you special abilities. So if you're wearing said object somewhere on your body, it will give you that special power.
Now, an amulet. Does anybody know what an amulet is? Alright, so amulets are small trinkets that are enchanted to protect the beholder. We touched on it earlier, they're often in the form of necklaces, but not always. They can be in other forms of jewelry or in little trinkets that you carry around. There we go. Sometimes they carry multiple enchantments, or a collection of amulets are housed in one casing. For example, you could have one stone that is viewed as an amulet and another stone that's viewed as an amulet, both on the same piece of jewelry, which we will touch on a little later. Origins date back to any early civilization and religions. For example, ancient Romans would create different amulets to respect different gods based on different gemstones. Alright, so now moving into the craft portion of today. So you guys are going to be creating your own amulet or talisman.
So I have picked out a talisman, which is, I like this specific one because it's small and I am small, and it's good. And I'm going to try and fasten it on this thing somehow, like my wand holder section, because that would be cool to have more things here, because I just want several things hanging from it at some point, and currently I only have my wand.
Will you be doing that prosperity and health charm? Raise your hand. Alright, so go ahead and hold that bead out again and repeat with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, salute.
We just went to a really cool panel about how average citizens can get involved in science, and it was by Carolyn Peterson, who we love, so it was really amazing to go and check all that out. And she gave links to a bunch of really cool websites where anyone who has a computer can go and submit data to help scientists research things like plankton and galaxies and asteroids and almost anything you can think of. There's a website to go look at that. So there'll be a link in the description to where you can check out a bunch of those, as well as I'd really love it if you guys could go out and find some that aren't in the description and post those links in the comments below so I can check out as many as possible.
What was your favorite one of the ones that you talked about?
My favorite one of the websites?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna say that Zooniverse is my favorite one because they make all of them almost. But Zooniverse is really cool because they have websites from like researching kelp forests to researching galaxies that are like I don't even know, like remarkably far away that you can't even see with the telescope we have, or even some telescopes other members of the Nuclear Astronomical Society have. Most of the websites will send you through a training process, and it will teach you how to identify different kinds of galaxies, And then you can go through and look at a bunch of pictures and tell them what you see in the picture. And there's, like I said, there's also stuff for ocean research, and there's even a few that I don't think it's run by Zooniverse, but I'm not sure. It's a live feed of Serengeti, and you can count how many animals you see and what kind of animals they are, which is also really cool because I love animals and I love behavioral zoology. So this definitely is right up my alley, and I'm really excited to take a look at all these websites when I get home.
Involved with citizen science, we're wanting to get members of the public to observe phenomena in nature, to look at pictures or data that we've come up with in the astronomy community, and actually help do that science. And so in the old days we would assign all that to graduate students, and now we basically have spread it out to what we like to call or think of as distributed computing, distributed observing. And it's gone beyond astronomy to a lot of other sciences as well. So what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about some of the astronomy projects that you can get involved in, and also some that are non-astronomy, such as looking at animals on the Serengeti. So, citizen astronomy, the big granddaddy of citizen astronomy, besides what I was doing with the amateur observers, is SETI at home. Have any of you ever done this? You put a little app on your computer and you run data, and they're looking for little life signs in the radio data. This one's been going for years and years and years, and SETI at home continues to go. This is their main website. It's not very pretty looking, but it does get you all the places you want to look at. Citizen astronomy, there's also Galaxy Zoo, which is now turned into Zooniverse. So this Galaxy Zoo is a place where you can go, and they give you pictures of galaxies. They teach you how to classify the shapes of galaxies. This is the first one of these I ever did, was Galaxy Zoo. They have all these images from Hubble pictures, from the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, from many, many surveys. You go and look at these galaxies, and they teach you the difference between a barred spiral galaxy and a spiral galaxy and an elliptical galaxy. And you go through and you look at pictures and you just judge what you think that galaxy looks at. And I've tried it slow and I've tried it fast, and I've determined that as you get used to it, you can actually do them pretty fast. You don't want to whiz through them, but your first impression is usually the right one. It's probably a barred SBC spiral or something. You learn the technology really fast, and it's great fun to do. I've probably done a couple thousand galaxies. I had to stop so I could check some of these others out. Dad would have loved. He was very much into watching the sun, and he died about 1.5 years ago, and I found out just before he died that he had done about 12 years of hand sketches of the sun through a solar filter. He's looking through his telescope with a solar filter, and he hand sketched the sun every day and got sunspots, and he recreated for himself the entire sunspot cycle over 11 years. And this is not something that, you have to have a lot of patience. This is 11 or 12 years of doing this, but this is something we all learn about in college, but he actually went out there and looked at it and eyeballed it himself for 11 years. So all of his papers were donated to the American Association of Variable Star Observers, and they digitized them all, and they're using them as part of their data. And I had no idea he was doing this till he brought out this giant, probably this thick notebook, and he's going, well, you might want to see this. And the people at AVSR were like, oh my God, give me. Global climate change is something that I've gotten interested in the last few years. When I was in graduate school, I did study atmospheres. I did not really have a good feel for how to explain it to the public, because atmospheres are pretty complex and can appear chaotic when you're studying them. But because we do have a warming atmosphere and all the reasons that we have for it happening, there have to be ways to be able to discuss it. And so about 1.5 months ago, I took a global climate reality workshop with the Climate Reality Project, which is headed up by Al Gore and some people in Australia and Europe. It's a worldwide group of people. And we learned how to talk about climate change to the public, and I'm still sort of refining my discussions about that. But they showed us some of these sites where you can be a climate change scientist and help the scientists who are studying climate change figure out what's going on. And it's not just, oh, you're going to go look at the atmosphere. It's actually, we're going to show you these images in these places where there are animals. And as those animals migrate and change over time, they're affected by the warming atmosphere. So for example, here in Colorado, I don't know how many of you have ever seen pikas. They're little animals that live up in the mountains. They can only live in a certain range of temperatures, and they're migrating up. Now, I live at 9,200 feet above Rollinsville, and we've got pikas migrating up past us. It's too warm for them down at 5,000 and 6,000 and 7,000 feet. This has been changing over the last 10 years or so, maybe a little bit longer. So there are a couple of, if you go to the Student's Guide to Global Climate Change is actually a student site that you can go and do these things. The Serengeti is at quite a bit of risk from poaching, from drought. Just animals are migrating, so they're trying to get an idea of what's happening with the Serengeti over time. And it could be that some of the migrations are entirely normal, but the drought conditions are a problem, and so that may be forcing the migrations. The drought conditions are thought to be pretty well connected to global warming, but they need a little bit more data on this. But it's already a fairly dry place anyway. But here we have these animals, and so you're basically tracking the animals as they go by in their daily lives.
We found one cosplay scavenger.
Oh yeah, quick update on cosplay scavenger hunt.
We found one person. Yay.
We did see some more Overwatch cosplayers yesterday. We didn't get pictures, but we just did an interview.
That was this morning.
Oh, that was today. Oh yeah, it's been a long day. We did an interview with McCree, and he was really great. It's a great cosplay. He was a really good interview. Here's a clip of McCree.
Why did you pick McCree to cosplay?
Mainly because I felt like it would be an easy character to cosplay, and I bit off way more than I can chew because there were so many extra accessories. I'm definitely regretting it a little bit, but it seemed like it was easy. Plus, I could show my face, unlike some of the other characters, and there's not that many guys.
So we're gonna go do one of the probably the best thing for me about STARFEST. The reason I love STARFEST so much is they do really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So the Science Fest, which hopefully you saw some of the videos from Carolyn Peterson's presentation. So getting to see at a science fiction convention people talking about the science side of the science fiction is really, really cool. And then the other thing, we're about to go do a seance, a live seance, which is awesome that this place has that and has kind of the Horror Fest vibe going. It's really cool. Like they do a lot of things that you don't see everywhere else for sure.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to be at a con where they do these things. Denver StarFest is one of the best fests in Denver by far, right? I really love it. They do cool stuff here. And it's really kind of small, so it's pretty intimate and it's not crazy like Denver Comic Con can be sometimes, or it's like San Diego certainly, or Salt Lake or something. Yeah. So it's small enough that you can see everything and meet people and do what you want to do.
San Diego's
but they do really innovative things, and so I really love the fact that they do such cool stuff. Yeah.
One of our favorite things from STARFEST is the game room, which is really, really cool. So we are playing this game called Starfall, which is not the website in which you learn how to read. It is something different, and it really reminded us of Dante Loretta's game called Constellations. So we decided that we wanted to take a look at this one, and Dante's game is a little bit more scientific than this one is, but this one still seems really fun. And one of the staff gave us a really nice walkthrough of the game, so now we are ready to play.
Icons here. So this one has 3, this one has 2. So whoever has the most at the end of the game gets 10 points. Every planet that you get gives you 5 points. Every moon that you get gives you 3 points, but only if you have a planet to go with it. So only if you match it with a planet.
We just finished the game. It was really, really fun. But now it is time to go downstairs and get ready for the seance, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a good game. It was there was like some Monopoly aspect to it, like money management and figuring out how to save your money and stuff like that. Presley failed miserably at money management, but that's no surprise to anyone who knows Presley. Yeah, if I beat you in money management, you got problems.
It's
you can
pretty.
ask,
I want to buy it.
Ask mommy. But yeah, it was a really good. It was a fun little game. Like it was very loosely like astronomy based, right? That wasn't. It was like after playing Dante's game, which is scientific and uses like star types to build clusters and things like that. Like this was using astronomy and stars as sort of like they were just chits in the game. It was just like parts of how you played the game. It wasn't really sort of astronomy based, but it was still cool to be playing with sort of the astronomy theme at least. So it was an astronomy themed game more than it was sort of a scientific game. Starfall. Yeah. It's good though. It's definitely worth checking out. And it is one of those games that like I think this would be fun for us to get to play even with Cooper because it is very simple to play, but you can play a much more complex game of it. Like you can, a lot of strategy could come in. So like if Presley and I were playing, we could play a different game than if the whole family was playing, but everybody could play. Like I think that we may get this one and play it as a family game night on the blog one day so that you guys can kind of see like a more full playthrough of it and see how it works and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely thumbs up from me. I think it's easy enough definitely for Cooper to play, but Cooper. It's definitely easy enough for Cooper to play, but good grief, it's definitely easy enough for Cooper to play, but also complex enough that Presley and I can have some fun games with it too. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, now this time we're really gonna go race the dead. We neglected to mention that the reason that we're in here doing this is because that was an hour later than we thought it was. So we sat there for like half an hour waiting for it to kick off, and then suddenly we like look at the schedule and I'm like, there was some noise going on, so we were looking at the schedule to see what was causing the noise, and realized that our thing was an hour later. So, but now it's really time to go do the seance. So we're gonna go do that. So we're home.
Hi.
Presley's out of her wig, which I think makes her happy. Well, does it feel good if I do this?
Yes. That doesn't hurt. Yeah, luckily.
So the end of a con, taking a wig off apparently is one of the greatest moments of the convention. It's worth going through a con. Okay, so the reason that we're sitting here in our kitchen instead of in a seance, as we've been promising all day, is because the schedule at STARFEST was wrong. When we signed up for it on Friday, it said it was at 8 o'clock.
When you signed up for it, not me.
When I did. And so we went at like 7:30 to kind of get ready and wait for the doors to open. And it looked like they were kind of getting ready and stuff. And we were sitting and chilling out. And while we were waiting, I was taking a look at the schedule. And then the schedule said it was at 9.
I was like, oh.
And so I was like, oh, we're totally wrong. We're here an hour
let's go
early.
play in the game room.
And so Presley's like, let's go play in the game room. And so that's why we went and just played that Constellation game that hopefully you just watched some of us playing. Not some of us playing, but some of us playing.
Some of us. That there are.
And then when we went back down there at like 8:30 to get ready, clearly the seance was in progress. And so we went over to the table of Brian and Baxter and sort of said, hey, what's going on? And they're like, yeah, it started at 8. And I was like, no, the schedule clearly says 9. And they're like, no, it doesn't. And so I showed them my schedule and we looked. You kind of have to put a straight edge thing to go over to the times. And clearly the schedule said 9 o'clock. I grabbed somebody's name tag off the desk to show them. And we were so late, in fact, that the seance was ending by the time we were there. And so we went over and talked to Brian and Baxter and kind of apologized and said, look, we didn't flake. Like, we didn't want to come. We were totally ready. And like, yeah, we were wondering where you guys were. We were hoping you were okay, in fact, because you guys had come by and talked about it. So the upside is what?
We get, we're going to try and get seats. We're not going to try. Like, they're going to try and get us seats at their actual event, which is clearly going to be better. Katie,
They do a weekly, like, dinner theater thing here in town.
I think it's bi-weekly, isn't it?
I don't know. They do a regular dinner theater thing here in town where you go and they have like a buffet and you get some nice stuff, and then at the end of dinner they do a seance. Apparently. And it is I think it's Indian. I don't quote me on that, but I think it is. So they do a seance, but it's in their own environment, so it's a space that they've built and put together, and it's not just a room in a conference hall that they put. Although, like last year, it was great. Like, don't get me wrong, the one at StarFest was awesome last year. That's why we were going this year. But I bet it's much better to go to their standing show. So they're gonna get us seats at their standing show. So we're gonna go do that, and it's all gonna work out better. And of course, we're gonna take you guys along, and we're gonna film as much as we can.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good time. So it all works out anyway. So there's a link down there in the doobly-doo to their dinner theater show. So if you're in Denver, check them out. If you're visiting Denver, check them out. Like, there's all kinds of reasons to check them out. Anyway. You should look at them. They're really funny. They do like paranormal investigation kind of stuff, and their videos are pretty solid. Yeah. They're definitely worth looking at.
Also, completely unrelated, because if you're an American public school kid, tell me about the PACER test, because I'm really confused.
Presley's suddenly very curious about the PACER test for some reason.
My friends were talking me. Yeah, that's how to English. My friends were telling me yesterday in my writing club about the PACER test. Like,
and I don't know what it is. I didn't do it.
She just completely mentioned, like,
Mommy didn't do it.
That she had to cut short her PACER test because she, like, broke her leg or something.
Although Mommy did win the presidential medal for physical fitness or whatever it was called back at the time, and she's told me that like 80 times since we've been married. Like, every time something athletic comes up, I won the presidential medal for physical fitness.
I don't even know what that is.
I really don't either, but I've heard about it for 25 years.
Like, tell me what the PACER test is. Like, apparently it is a fast-paced athletic something. I don't know. I only know what's on Tumblr.
So you should go look up the presidential medal too while you're at it. All right. So Presley's ends the night on a disappointing note.
But PACER test.
But there's good stuff coming on, and she's laughing at the PACER test meme. So
I don't know.
She's gonna go to bed because we're back at it tomorrow. So we're gonna wrap this up, and we'll see you guys in the morning.
Yeah.
John there.